Welcome to this episode of the Section 17 podcast. I'm your host, Brian Kennedy. And as always, I'm joined by my co host, Josh Cox, the big dog, Scott Midland, taking that swig of Sprite, and Jamie Holt. And it was, I guess, a good weekend this past weekend. Nothing really happened. I guess the Blue Devils went down to Death Valley and, oh, yeah, they won 46-45, second consecutive win over the Clemson Tigers. We've got a packed episode. We've got our reactions. Well, three of the four reactions because one of us was out of pocket. We've got comments from head coach Manny Diaz. We've got the mailbag. We've got another tirade. It should be a good one tonight. Should be a good one. We've got our predictions. And of course, did you know? But before we get to all of that, you know the deal. We got to keep all of these lights on to keep this episode going. First off, let's thank realtor Matt Lunsford Bliven. When it comes to buying, selling, investing, or building here in Durham and around the Triangle, Matt is always ready to help you move the chains. He'll quarterback the whole process from kickoff to the final whistle so you never fumble a deal. If you're looking for a real estate win, put your trust in realtor Matt Lunsford Bliven, helping you score big in the Durham market and beyond. For more information, email Matt at mlb@nestrealty.com. And he should be having another ticket giveaway next weekend for next weekend's big matchup against Virginia at 3:30. Josh, who else do we have to thank before we get this episode rolling?
Bienvenidos, folks. El Rodeo, North Durham, North Duke Street. Once again, I went again. I just support this place. I was there again this past weekend. Had another queso dip. I mean, it was really good. I went with a super standard ACP as well. Ate a half of it. But anyway, really good food, a really good environment. I was when we stopped in there was a family party going on in their back room. There was like 35, 40 people in there. They can handle birthday parties, all that kind of stuff. El Rodeo, North Duke Street. If you go, take a picture, send it our way. Let us know you're there. And it always helps us out. And so we're grateful for Andres, Mario, and the entire team there at El Rodeo, North Duke Street. And then obviously, kind of OG. If you guys didn't know this, Comfort Mechanical Contractors has always been a sponsor ever since we added sponsors. But they've recently, this past 2 years, gone into the residential space. And so let's hear from our final sponsor, Hometown Air.
Your home's HVAC system isn't meant to go all 4 quarters without a break. Now that fall has kicked off, we recommend you replace your air filters, listen for unusual noises from your system, clear leaves and debris around your outdoor unit, and most importantly, schedule your seasonal tune-up with Hometown Air. Mention Section 17 podcast for 10% off your next visit. Call 919-568-3212 or visit hometownairnc.com for your free quote today.
And our thanks again to all of our Hellraiser sponsors as they have supported us all season long and will continue to do so until the 2025 season is over with. Okay, big game happened this past weekend. A lot of fireworks, a lot of action. Duke came out on top 46-45 for their first win down in Death Valley since 1980. First time they've gone consecutive wins over Clemson since 1969-1970. And did I miss anything? No, I did not. So we'll give our reaction here shortly, but we got to hear from the man himself. Here's head coach Manny Diaz after the big win.
I mean, what a college football game. What an advertisement for the sport. We said yesterday in our plan to win meeting that Clemson was going to play their best. And it was going to take our best to beat their best. But the knowing that our best could be Clemson's best was a major step for this program. Got to give Clemson all the credit in the world. They played outstanding. They were phenomenal on offense, of course, and it took everything we had to win this game. So many guys made key contributions, but the biggest thing is that we stayed in the fight. It was like a heavyweight fight. Both teams were throwing haymakers. You had to be able to take a punch to win this game. And again, I'm proud for how we not just took a punch, but we were able to counter. Going 95 yards or whatever it was on that last drive of the game to be able to execute a 2-point play. I mean, and then again, for the defense to go out there and get the final stop there at the end, just so much to be proud of. But, just look at the faces in the locker room. It's bigger than just a win. It's what this program needed. We needed to know that we could beat someone as good as Clemson in a stadium like this while they were playing well. And it was, one of those games, a shame someone had to lose, but for us to make the play at the end, again, I'm so thankful to be their head football coach. So let's do questions.
And again, that was head coach Manny Diaz giving his post-game thoughts after the Blue Devils went down and won in an exciting fashion, 46-45. I think I've said that 18 times now, but hey, we got to celebrate, fellas. 2023 was not a fluke. The Blue Devils moved to 4-1. They keep the ACC title game hopes alive. There's just a lot of good stuff going on. And honestly, what a better time to have a non-conference game to get some tweaks to the offense and defense to get ready for the big game at Virginia. So again, folks, I was out of pocket. I went home to homecoming at the Lord's School. Planned this before. I will admit I'm not a real Duke fan, but amen. The Flames came out on top and reception was not the greatest. I tried to keep up with the game on my phone, but the Lord had other plans. So I'm going to let Josh, Jamie, and Scott handle quick reaction on all things Clemson Duke, and then we will get into the mailbag. So, fellas, take it away.
I'll go first. First, thanks to YouTube TV, I actually went old school this weekend. Some of you young kids don't remember when we used to have to listen to the games because they were never on TV, hardly. But I had a good time actually. It was a blast. I was just down at the dock, sitting by the water, listening to David Shoemate and Dave Harding, and they were great. Man, Shoemate is so fun to listen to, and Harding's great too. Obviously, we love Dave Harding, but Shoemate is just he's so exciting to listen to. You feel like you're at the game. Like that's how they describe it so well. You just feel like you're there. And what a great game it was. Did Duke break Clemson in 2023? I think they did. And everything since then, I've had a blast just trolling Clemson fans since Saturday. We broke them. They're so upset over losing to Duke. Duke was obviously their Super Bowl. I mean, you hate to see it. They look so much forward to Duke coming to Death Valley, and then just to lose like that, God, you hate to see it. But no, it was a great weekend. It was just one of the bigger wins that I've seen in Duke football. I mean, because even though Clemson is down, a win in Death Valley is something to be very proud of.
Anyone?
Okay, sorry.
There we go.
Scott,
Sorry,
I'm deferring to you, man. I'm going to back clean up on this.
I did not realize that he was going to stop. I was thinking mid-sentence he was going to say. So, obviously, great weekend. Enjoyed everything about the weekend except for that team out in the West Coast that won the World Series. But anyway, other than that, it was a great weekend. Was worried about the noon kickoff. Was worried that the rest of the day could be a little bit of a letdown. Definitely, obviously you could spend 35 minutes yelling at YouTube and Disney about their stupidity, but we don't have time for that mess. So I actually had to go to a different route, went on a different kind of app. And also owned by Disney, go figure. But anyway, I was able to watch it. The fun part about that was that it's 35 seconds behind everything. So the tweets for the scores were coming in before I got to see them on TV, which I'm not gonna lie, is much more fun to watch when it goes your way. So it was a lot of fun though. It's great to see all the Duke fans there enjoying themselves. Obviously, if Josh went over to El Rodeo, I'm sure he was able to hold down his queso and stuff as he ate there. Oh, sorry. That's a few minutes from now, Clemson fans. But, man, just a great win. And, it took 45 years for us to go down there and win again. So let's Duke, if you want to, let's not wait 45 more years. Let's go ahead and win the next time we go down there because, some of us weren't even alive. Well, no, some of y'all weren't alive. I was alive, unfortunately, back then because I was like 4. But anyway, great win. Really excited. Looking forward to this next week now.
And don't forget,
Jamie, were you alive, Jamie? 80? Or you were born in 79 or 80? 78?
I was actually born in 78. I'm aging myself. 78.
Right.
So technically I was alive, but I had no clue what was going on. So I was probably I was probably dirty in a diaper or something at that
Probably.
point.
Sorry, Brian, I cut you off. Good.
I don't even remember what I was. No. Clemson comes to town next year, don't they? Could be wrong.
I can't remember.
I'll effort and double check, but I
Yeah.
don't know if we've ever beaten the Tigers 3 consecutive times. I'll check that while you're talking.
Yeah. So, look, I got to be honest with you. I experienced all the roller coaster of following Duke football, watching this game. Reminder: if you did the 5-day free trial from Fubo TV, you've got 2 more days before you need to get rid of that, or go ahead and pay the $110 a month or whatever it is. For those of you that follow the round ball, you might want to hold on to it to watch the basketball game tomorrow night and then get rid of it. So that's just some free advice. That's why you come here, guys. We give you free advice. But listen, Darian Mensah. We've got to start having a conversation, guys. Like, this season is going to be historic. The man has thrown 21 touchdowns and 2 interceptions on the year. But his numbers: 27-41, 361, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. Nate Shepard, 60 yards rushing on 13 attempts. I thought Anderson Castle, even though only 5 rushes for 24 yards, I actually thought played an important role there. I'll give him a shout out as well. And I believe that the play-by-play guys mentioned that his ability to pick up the blitz and to really, really put a body on people and block was really helpful and beneficial in this game. And then, listen, that wide receiver room, folks, we thought we were going to be down potentially. Cooper Barkate, 6 receptions, 127 yards and a touchdown. This dude is on a burner right now. Jeremiah Hazley, 3 catches, 83 yards, none bigger than the 58. Yeah, Jerry, 58, I believe, yarder on that final drive where he just slipped down the middle of the field on a 4th down, I believe it was, 3rd or 4th down. And I mean, he just took off. Looked like an NFL tight end, honestly. If you watched the Bears game yesterday, like the winning touchdown. Anyway, then you have Queso, 6 receptions, 80 yards, 2 scores. Andrew Anthony, 4 receptions, 45 yards, 1 score. And then you have the guy that, as we tweeted, for his entire career has made plays on special teams. Every time he's gotten the chance, Samir Hagans, my man, returned the kickoff for the touchdown. And honestly, had that not happened, that second half, I mean, that whole 3rd quarter was rough. And so, anyway, all I can say is Duke experienced the highs and lows, up 21-7, giving up 21 straight, somehow scoring at the end of the first half. And then I would say this for all of you that had, the 90.5 over, congrats, So Duke gets the win. Congrats to the guys.
All right. Clemson does come to town next year to Wally Wade. Don't know when, don't ask, because the ACC will determine that. Last time Duke went on a winning streak of more than 3 games was when the series first started. They won in 1934, 1935, 1936. Then there was a 21-year gap, and they won in 1957.
Hey.
So Duke has won 4 straight against Clemson.
Hey, that's that national championship year I was talking about on X earlier. 1936 national champions.
There you go. And
right.
also,
and I think shout out Peter Dodge. I believe he was equipment manager on that 1936 team. So
and one more thing, Cooper Barkate, 774 receiving yards already. There are 4 games left. He only needs 199 yards to crack the top 10 and overtake Connor Vernon's 2010 season of 973 yards. So
yeah, I just want to see him get to that 1,000 mark.
No, absolutely, absolutely. And here's the crazy thing, and I'll say this, and we'll get to mailbag. 9th place, 1,044 yards, Jamison Crowder. 8th place, Donovan Varder, 1,047. 7th, 1,067, 1,074, 1,080, and 1,093. Very, very doable, knock on wood, to maybe even overtake Clarkston Hines at 1,149.
I mean, what would he have to average out? Can you do the math real quick?
Yeah, give me 1 second. Well, put
And
on
so
my Jeopardy
real
music.
quick, Brian, if he came in just under Clarkston at 11, under 1140, what would that put him? All time fifth,
No, third.
third? Oh man,
Wow.
Yeah, so
He's
so
having either way. He's having an epic year. Like,
now I did
James,
look.
460 yards is what he needs, or somewhere in
He
that ballpark.
he could catch Jameson Crowder's 2013 season of 1360. However, he would have to average 146.5 yards a game.
God.
That would be epic if he
Yeah, that
actually
would be
did that. For
otherworldly.
Hines, he would have to get 376 yards over the next 4 games. So we're talking 94 yards.
Not bad.
Doable, but hey,
very
let's
doable.
take it a game at a time. With
Well,
the
I was
opponents
the
we
one
have
who
left.
said last week that I thought that Clemson was going to do their best to take him out of the game, and I think they tried. And my man,
Yeah.
it didn't matter. Well, of course, okay. Once again, this is not taking anything away from Cooper Barkgate, nothing.
Yeah.
But he was the beneficiary of the busted coverage.
Right.
I mean, that one long touchdown, Brian, you missed it, but you
Well,
probably saw that one.
I
But,
saw it on the ESPN, the Gamecast.
yeah.
Y'all thought Hulu was bad. Gamecast was like a half behind. Because y'all are texting about stuff, and I'm in Williams Stadium at Liberty going, what are they talking about? Oh, there it is. Okay.
That's funny.
So,
But he
all
was the
right.
beneficiary of that. So anyway, yeah, that's great. What a great win.
Our receivers were absolutely killing their secondary either way. Like,
yeah,
I mean, just
very true.
running open. So Clemson fans, if you want to cry about something, cry about your defense.
There you go.
Because it fucking sucked.
Well,
Cry more.
There's a lot of things going on in Death Valley. I mean, even Dabo was like, I might get fired today after the game, post game.
Hey, speaking of, we're getting ready to go to mailbag.
Yeah.
Question for you: will Dabo coach in Wallace Wade next year?
He might not.
Wow. Okay. If no, will it be him walking away, or will it be the school making him go?
I think he walks. I think if he leaves, I think he walks. I don't think they're gonna fire him after this year.
I will say this with the way he sounded post game. He was like, I might get fired after I'm done here. And he looks directly at the AD. So that doesn't lead me to think he would say, I'm done. I'm out of here. They're going to have to probably drag him out.
For whatever it's worth, I heard today there's $110 million out there for one Nicholas Saban to take over for the Bayou Tigers. God. If he wanted that job, they're offering $110 million.
That's crazy.
So Dabo could just fit perfectly back on that set. Can you see him and McAfee side by side? Now that would be interesting.
Man, Dabo would be blushing, bro. He'd be. Of course, Dabo got a little potty mouth on him at the end of that game. We actually got Dabo to lose his cool a little bit on those Clemson players.
However, with the amount of job openings right now, I'm sure he would land somewhere else. I'm sure there's another college with an opening that would happily take him. So, all right, we could talk about Clemson all night long, but we got to get to the mailbag, and we're back. The mailbag
more
is,
about Clemson.
Okay. Well, shut up, Jamie. Another mailbag segment, and last week was a little light, but we're back to our normal questions. So, Jamie, why don't you go ahead and get us rolling, all things mailbag.
All right. First thing, this wasn't a question, but I wanted to shout out a post I saw in our group, and I saw it on X as well, from Eli Hartsoe, our guy, GA Scumbags. He says,
Georgia, is that Georgia Scumbags?
Yeah, Georgia Scumbags. That's what I had heard. Like, that's weird. Oh, why are they the Georgia Scumbags? Yeah. No, he says a tale of two Duke football seasons. 1989, a 1-3 start. 2025, a 1-2 start. 1989, pivotal win against Clemson in Wallace Wade. 2025, pivotal win versus Clemson in Death Valley. Once again, Clemson's a little down, but either way, you win in Death Valley. That's a great win. 1989, 323 passing yards per game. 2025, 324.3 yards passing. 1989, 6-1 in the ACC. 2025, currently 4-1 in the ACC. 1999 was not good. 1989, ACC title. 2025 in ACC title discussions. I thought that was a pretty good rundown of the 1989 season versus
You
2025.
you didn't add what I said.
Yeah, Brian made people mad by asking where is Manny going to go
Folks,
after
I'm
this season.
joking. My goodness. Let's all enjoy it and have a little bit of fun. For those of you who are not in our Facebook group, I said after 89 season, Spurrier leaves for Florida. After 25 season, Manny leaves for. Let's just have some fun with it. After last week's questions, I thought a lot of you would have been asking that, but I digress.
Look, I know we're about to get into the questions, but like, it's so funny. And look, we're a little bit guilty of it, but like, you win a game and you're like, when is he getting an extension? You lose the game and you're like, how much longer does he have here? And it's like, it's funny. And like I said, we're guilty of it too. So anyway,
Oh yeah, I'm probably the most guilty of the four of us.
season's over.
Season's over. Thanks for the support. Lane Phipps is going to start us out. Manny went into Death Valley and showed Dabo who has the bigger dick with a series of events that occurred at the end. I take back my knee-jerk criticism from last week, looking at you, Brian, again, talking junk to Brian. Has Duke's That's So Duke curse finally been broken with that win? Are we confident in winning out now? I wouldn't say I'm confident in winning out. Like, I'm never confident, like, as a Duke fan. Like, but I mean, a win like that definitely constitutes as, to me, a huge win, and that's the first one in a while, correct? So
Duke fans, mute me with what I'm about to say. We've seen this in college football since college football began, way back when Peter Dodge was the equipment manager for Duke in 1935. I'm not saying this is going to happen this weekend, but you have these teams that get those monumental wins and then they falter the next week. Duke, prove me wrong. Please, I will happily eat crow next Monday when we record after the UConn game. But it has happened in the past with especially Duke and with other programs. Heck, what happened to Georgia Tech this past weekend against NC State? Congrats, NC State fans. You got a good win. That win should have been ours, but I digress on that. I truly don't know. I've said this since before the season. I don't like this weekend's matchup. I feel like it's a trap game, especially going up to Connecticut in November. And me and Jamie had some banter back and forth all day long. To me, UConn is good, but Jamie has shown me they haven't really played anyone other than the Steve Angeli led Syracuse Orange early in the season. But this could be a game where everything clicks for Connecticut. Duke falters a little bit, and next thing you know, we're having another episode next Monday going, what happened? Now, I don't want that at all, but as a Duke fan and everything, from what we've seen, in the back of my mind, I'm like, okay, how am I going to react if this actually does happen? Good thing is it would be a non-conference loss, but it would be a loss. So, Lane, I love the banter back and forth, buddy. I appreciate you calling me out, but it's just like we said earlier. It's funny how last week it was, is Manny really the guy? And now, like what Josh is saying, when are we extending him? So, yes, so there got the standings right here, and I'm sure that's Jamie. Is that a question that someone's asking about later? We might hold off on this actually.
I mean, you can go ahead and talk about it. I don't think I
Well,
put anything in there.
Okay.
I didn't know when I brought it in, it was going to go live. That's my fault.
Oh no, that's fine. Pull it back up if you can. So everyone keeps wondering, and I even posted about this on after the game Saturday, the tiebreaker scenarios. If we're looking at this, and we'll just go ahead and knock this out really quick. We want Virginia to win out. We need Georgia Tech to lose another game.
We need Virginia to win out except for the game in
Yes,
Durham.
true. Thank you. Win out except for the Duke game next weekend. If Pitt wins out, we're in trouble. If SMU wins out, we're in trouble. If Georgia Tech wins out, we're done because of head-to-head matchups. Basically, it's this: if you have a head-to-head matchup, that's what they go off of. If you don't have a head-to-head, which we haven't played Pitt, Louisville, or SMU, they go off what was it? Common records amongst
Common opponents.
Yeah, record percentage among common opponents. It can happen. It is doable. As we've seen all year long, Coastal Chaos is still in full effect in the ACC. I think
I was
Go
going
ahead.
to ask if
Yeah.
Georgia Tech hypothetically wins out, we could still slip in the ACC title game, but we would just be second. Like we wouldn't be first. Like,
So here's some matchups. Pitt plays Georgia Tech, so that should knock out one of them regardless. I want to say SMU just beat Miami. Louisville, have they played SMU yet? I know they were supposed to. Can someone effort that while I'm talking? Because I think that was the matchup that we were talking about could determine a spot in the ACC title game at the
They play
beginning of the year.
Clemson Friday night. Louisville.
Who? Louisville?
Louisville.
But has Louisville and SMU played yet? Because I know that was on the okay. So there you. Well,
They played November the 22nd, Louisville and SMU. So that's going to be another. That's going to be another one. You know what I mean? That knocks each other. They're going to knock somebody out.
Right. So what needs to happen? We've got to beat Virginia, and really we've got to win out. You got to beat Chapel Hill College, and you've got to beat Wake. If you do all of that, and things go the right way, say Pitt defeats Georgia Tech, and I'll even throw in, Louisville and SMU is a toss-up because I don't know the common opponents between Duke and those two teams. But there is definitely a path forward to the ACC title game. Now, someone brought this up today, and it kind of irked me, but it was that's so Duke. They said that, let's say Duke runs the table, wins the ACC title, depending on where their ranking is. If there are two G5 teams ahead of them, Duke might not make the playoffs even as the ACC title winner, which would be the most Duke thing after all this mess. So I know
all that.
Yeah, exactly. So I appreciate you actually bringing this up, Josh, because it is good to kind of review that. So I think as we get to the last couple of weeks, obviously there will be like an eliminator between some teams, but Duke still has a shot. You just got to keep winning. Sorry, Jamie, continue.
Oh, that's all good. At Matthew Lofton 15, did Duke officially break Dabo? And then he's got another question. If he is back next year, which Section 17 member is going to be the designated golf cart driver for Dabo? Because of all the complaints from him in 2023, the long walk, cry more.
I think I would have to, because that's actually something I did in 2015. I did drive the golf cart at the Duke football games. Things people may not know. I did that year, and I actually was helped out in Cameron with the True Blue
Cameron.
crew.
What's Cameron?
That other place up the hill. You'll talk
Oh.
about them in a couple of weeks. They actually play tomorrow night in that orange sport. But I actually helped in Cameron by the Legacy Door, and got to know a lot of great people. And that was a year they won a national championship. So that was actually a really cool year. But anyway,
I'm not sure. If you ask Brian, I'm not sure that I could be trusted to drive the golf cart because I don't listen to directions.
Jamie would be on 15501 with that.
Marshawn Lynch and Jamie are just alike on a golf cart.
Dabo would hear words that he has never heard before on that golf cart. That's all I'll say. I'm not going to repeat any of them.
FHS, for heaven's sake.
It's a kid's show.
No, yeah. So real quick, to try to answer the question, did we break Dabo? Listen, I have a lot of respect for the win, for the culture that was created at Clemson. You know, Duke didn't break him, but I will say Duke just happened to be on the kind of the front end and now on potentially the back end of like Dabo's refusal to adapt. And we don't have time. We've already talked enough about Clemson as far as their program, but Duke has adapted. People questioned what Duke did in the offseason. Obviously, it is working out fairly well. So Dabo won't adapt. And as they say, adapt or die. So,
all right. At the Duke of QP, coming in with a classic question. This is classic. Clemson's Howard's Rock is a good luck charm, supposedly. But what I want to know is who vigorously rubbed Manny's rock, God, before he called that ballsy 2-point conversion to win the game.
Wow.
I don't know.
The Duke coming in with another clutch.
I'm not touching that one at all.
Don't they have somebody on the coaching staff?
Wow, Brian. Well, pause.
I'll mute myself now.
Yeah. Yeah. So speaking of the actual 2-point conversion call, we must take credit in the group text for saying at the beginning of that drive, if we score here, you got to go for the win. And Scott, yeah, we talked about that, and like, yeah. So
When Jerry caught the pass and it was a first down, I had already had it ready. And I'm like, if I do this, I'm going to jinx this whole situation. And then when Jerry caught the pass and was running, I was like, yeah, I'm going to send it. And then, hey, it worked.
And what was cool, like we mentioned, we were watching on Fubo TV, so it was a little bit delayed. So like we have the, especially during the games, I turned the Duke football Twitter on notifications. And so like you just saw the Samir Hagen's, all caps or whatever come through, and we're like, oh, we got it. And like, then it was, to Scott's point earlier, it was kind of cool to see it like 10 seconds later or whatever, you actually watch it happen. So it's good when it's good things, not so good when it's bad things. But
We've
yeah,
seen it more and more though, throughout college football. Not as much the NFL. Most times the NFL they'll take it to overtime, but um, I've seen it more and more in college football. We saw it with Belichick with the failed 2-point
Hey,
conversion.
and I agree with him doing that 100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think
It
that
was
was a
the right
great
call.
idea.
It was the right call, and it was the right call for Manning. But it does take some cojones to do that in that situation. But because I feel like if we went to overtime, I'm not sure we win that game.
it's
Like
it's
we may
all
have
about it's
scored.
all about momentum, man. It's all about
Yeah,
momentum. And even though Duke scored there and could have tied it up, there's still something I know. I don't think Duke felt like they were in control of that game. And so I thought, listen, had we lost that game 45-44 on a failed 2-point conversion, I'd have been like, hey, it is what it is. Like, full disclosure here, I run most of what we do on Twitter. Well, during the game, I pretty much run all of it. And I absolutely had a tweet already typed out that was like, hey, we got this far and just didn't happen. Kudos to the offense. And where was the defense? I was going to say something like that and had to delete it, or had to delete before we posted. So happy to do so.
all right. We got one from Timothy Gonzalez at Timothy 087-31120 on X.
Shout out Timothy, always keeping us
Yep.
in the loop on who's calling the games.
Yeah. He says him and his mom were cheering real loud yesterday. It's like what a back and forth game that was. I'm sorry, I can't read apparently. He says my question: if y'all could give a Section 17 media sticker to one offensive player and one defensive player, who would it be? Now we used to give helmet stickers every game, so it became a running joke because I was always going to pick the obvious guy. So
Riley's
here
not
we go.
available, Jamie.
Yeah, here we go. I mean, Darian Mensah, who I would give my helmet sticker to.
Well,
Like,
Jamie, you got to give your offense and defense, and we can double up. So just do it quick though. Give you one offense, one defense. Defense is gonna be hard. Let's be honest. I'm looking at the stats right now. I got my guy.
Hold on. Y'all go, and I might have to think about that. I will say Darian Mensah though.
I didn't watch the game. I'm out.
All right, I'll go. I'm gonna go. I'll go a little bit off the beaten path here for the offense, and I'm gonna say special teams. I'm gonna go Samir. I will say this because I know it's personal to Samir. We've gotten to know him over the years, we understand Clemson was a part of his recruitment. That game really matters to him a whole lot. I believe he had friends that ended up going there, and like anyway, so I think that game matters to him. And then on the defensive side, I mean, yeah, let's I mean, he led the team in tackles. He's been put in a kind of put into a role that he didn't expect at the beginning of the season. I'm going my man Luke Margot. 8 tackles, really showed up, really played well. And here's what Luke is proving. Luke is proving that the stage isn't too big for him, and he's got speed. And honestly, he's only gonna get better, in my opinion. So, Luke, Scott, what you got?
All right, I'm going to cheat because hey, I can. I'm really happy, especially this past weekend on my fantasy team, with the connection of Mr. Menza and Mr. Barkate. Helped me get another W. So God bless these two men. Thank you so much for what you do every Saturday. Really enjoyed that. I was going to cheat. I was actually going to use the same one Josh did, but I'm going to change it. I say Landon Callahan. I think he played one of his best games for Kamari Robinson there starting in his place. I thought he played excellent, and the stage was not too big for him. And I'm going to cheat again real fast. At the end of the game, Mekhi Jones is in there in the fourth quarter playing significant. Pelly, same thing. Juice. Those guys are in there in significant time in one of the huge games of the season. You got to love the fact that the youth is actually working out in our favor like it's supposed to be.
All right.
You
I'll
didn't give
say,
an offense guy? Did you give an offense guy?
no, I don't think he did.
Me?
Yeah, you didn't give offense guy, did you?
Yeah, Barcade and
Oh, okay. The
that was my
Mensa
fantasy
Barcade
thing.
connection. Okay, all right.
Yeah. So my second guy, it's gonna be Cooper Barkade.
Wow.
Oh wait. Oh, I'm
Original.
sorry. I'll go Luke. I'll go Luke Margot with my defensive guy. I will. I said Darian Mensa. I was going to take two offensive guys, but we got to give it to Luke Margot because he has been all over the field for several games now. So, all right, let's move on. Brian was wanting us to move on. He's already watching the time. Let's see. Peter Dodge, I thought had a good question. 80s are circulating the proverbial wagons to ensure their head football coaches aren't moving on to the next gig. I trust Nina is doing the same to keep Manny in the 919. In this day and age, does behind the scenes also mean restructuring player compensation to ensure guys continue to wear the Duke uniform? And he says, I'm looking at you, Darian Mensa. I thought that was a good one for Josh, maybe. So.
Yeah. So, someone else commented, not a question, but they commented under a post about Darian that we had, and was like, "Well, unfortunately, that means he's going to be gone next year to somewhere greener pastures or whatever." I mean, Darian's under a 2-year agreement. I do know that for sure. So I think there'd have to be a lot that would take place. A lot of craziness for that not to happen. And let's put it this way: if that, let's just say, crazy talk that it were to happen, Duke would get compensated, in that enough to be able to go out and put together what they need to put together. So anyway, but to his question about first of all, the Manny extension, that's completely on Nina. Well, it's not just on Nina; it's on Nina to get it done. It would be on whoever funds that salary, and Duke is a private institution, so that a lot of that stuff is kept close to the vest. But listen, I do know that, that letting your head coach know that he's wanted and appreciated is a good thing. It's not foolproof, as we saw in 2023. Mike Elko got an extension and then got the job of his life, a job offer of his life. So he took it. So anyway, that can still happen. Player compensation, NIL money or rev share money is not supposed to be directly tied to incentives based upon on-field performance. However, your NIL value does go up. I mean, the value of Cooper Barkade in November of 2025 compared to the value of Cooper Barkade in August of 2025 is different. And, that's just one step removed from, a direct there, but it just is. I mean, we talked about it in the offseason. Chandler Rivers' value from 2 years ago to now is like multiple times X because of his play on the field. By the way, no one still likes to throw to Chandler Rivers. We saw it this past weekend. They just don't like throwing around him, and it's for a good reason. So I would say that absolutely, you have players that have come onto the scene. I mean, on a lesser scale and not degrading. We just talked about him in a good way. Luke Margot. You have Luke Margot that came in as a 2-deep piece this year to make sure there was depth in the linebacker room. And then we thought that was the role he was going to play. And now all of a sudden he's thrust into this role. He's more valuable to the team. It just is what it is. So, big picture, it's always cheaper to keep your players and retain them. And will the guys get incentivized based upon their value? Absolutely. welcome to the new age. It is what it is. And shout out Peter Dodge, by the way. Love that guy.
All right. Philip Raven. He said his son Owen wants to ask this question. So he says, what has to change on our defense in order for us to win out? That's a great question.
Before you
Owen,
guys talk
by the
about
way.
that, we'll let Scott, the commander of the defensive structure over here, talk. Owen is like what, 12
Yeah, that
years
was a
old?
great question. Yeah,
No, he just turned 14 last week.
Oh, did he really? Jeez. So
Yeah,
this
that
is
means
coming from
we are getting old.
a young kid though,
Yeah.
who is perceptive enough to be like, hey, what's going on with that defense?
Scott, what you got for us?
Something's got to happen. I mean, unfortunately, we found out today that Elliott Shopper's out for the season. And no, Terry Moore is not back yet. No, Terry Moore is not playing this weekend. Just in case anybody was wondering. And I don't know if it got asked or not, because unfortunately I was at work and the phone was ringing during that time. So what needs to happen? Honestly, they need to play better. Duh. I mean, that's a duh moment, but they do need to play better. I mean, getting in a shootout is not ideal. Granted, the teams that are left, okay, maybe not a bad idea, but that's really not what you want to do. They've got to play better defense. And I'm going to be honest with you. They play a zone, and Klubnik, who I think has been in college 73 years, it seems like, is just picking it apart. Their tight end, their wide receiver, their whatever would go right there in the zone and just dump it to him. Randall, I mean, we mentioned last week jokingly that Randall may have the game of his life. The dude was looked like the bus, the old Jerome Bettis back in his heyday. So, I mean, it seems like there's some things. Obviously, we need to work on penalties, and that's on both sides of the ball. We're getting started a little too early, but it's not hurting us yet, but it could down the road. You don't want to get called for that 5-yard penalty for something that, is a game-winning play, that you could have made a stop or a pick and you got called for offsides or whatever. I just think guys need to do a better job. I mean, we are talking about some guys getting in there, and I mentioned it a minute ago. Juice, Makai, Landon Callahan, Musa Kane. I mean, Luke, like we just mentioned. Elliott Shopper when he was in there. Gommers, who we didn't hear his name at all until Elliott got hurt. And he came in and did a great job. So I think it's a learning curve. Now, granted, we're game 8. We just finished game 8. You think the curve will get better. I think just at the end of the day, Clemson, chess pieces. They moved their chess pieces a little bit better than we did for a while there. We moved our chess pieces better. Got to stick with them. I mean, eventually, you would think that this team, who has some talent, obviously, will settle down and do okay. But that's the problem. We get out there, we get up 21-7, and it's just like, okay, it's going to be a cool afternoon. And Clemson's just like, oh, well, it's time for us to wake up now. Let's go. So I think we're going to be all right. You just got to give it some time.
Yeah,
I will say,
I'm sorry.
I was going to say one thing about the defense, real quick. When we were down 45-38, we had to punt. And if you were looking at social media and following along like a lot of us do when we're watching the game, we were all in the depths of despair at that point, because we're like, there's no way the defense is going to get a stop. There's no way the defense is going to get us the ball back. But to their credit, they got Darian Mensah the ball back, right? So, and gave him the opportunity to go on a epic 94-yard drive, which cry Clemson, cry about your defense once again. But anyways, they got that stop. That was a clutch stop from the defense. They forced a punt. It had been, I think it had been like the first quarter. Like Clemson hadn't punted the ball since like the first quarter or something. So it was a good time to get a stop there.
The only thing I'm going to add is there's no rabbit to pull out of your hat for this defense. It's just the guys are who they are. They've got to play better, got to get to the quarterback. And then I will say scheme wise, I would rather us man up in the secondary and bring a little bit more pressure and deal with the fallout of like every now and then our corner, a corner or a safety is going to get beat. I would rather deal with that than watching these guys in the soft zone pick it apart. Because speaking of guys that have been in college forever, the UConn quarterback Fagnano, I believe I'm saying his name right, has been in college for 7 years, his 7th season. And I mean, my man, he's going to know how to read his own defense, I'm assuming. So anyway, that's the only thing I can say is let's play more man. I understand it's a risk, but let's trust our guys and let's get after the quarterback a little bit more.
All right, we're gonna move. Speaking of Fagnano, we're gonna move on to some UConn talk here. Our guy Will Kuntis. I got that right for like the first time in the history of the podcast, I believe.
Jamie, you're
I
doing
nailed
great
it.
with names, bud.
I nailed it.
Hey, listen, all I'm going to say is fair warning, Jamie, please keep doing well with names. We can't.
I nailed
This
it.
week, I need you. You can't.
Fagnano.
I was actually talking about Will's name because that's the first time I pronounced
No,
it.
I know you were, but we were just making sure.
Fagnano. At sit in UOK on Twitter. Will. He says, I don't know anything about this year's Huskies. How do we beat them? Except, I mean, obviously a win for us would secure a bowl. Jamie Latham also says, do you see us having a hangover when we go play against UConn? Or do you see this team focused to finish the season strong, especially with the performance in the Clemson game?
I feel like I answered the last question already. Just talking about potentially playing down to your competition's level, maybe overlooking this game to look ahead to the bigger opponent in Virginia. UConn, and again, I've said it since the beginning of the season, trap game. I keep saying it, trap game. But Jamie pulled me back into the guardrails and did make a good point, and I said it earlier. UConn has only played 2 Power 4 schools. We're number 3. The first one was, again, the Steve Angeli-led Syracuse. And then you have Boston College, who have just been a complete nightmare. I don't know what's going on up in Chestnut Hill. Other than that, every other team is either a G5 school or an FCS school. I'll just run it down really quick. Central Connecticut, Delaware, which they lost, Ball State, Buffalo, FIU, and Rice, which they lost. And they just beat UAB last week. Based off of what I was seeing, and I just quickly glanced at some of the games, I think it's time to give the ball to the Nate Train and Anderson Castle, because right now, as it stands, UConn ranks 104th in rushing defense. They're giving up almost 200 yards a game at 175 yards. Now, I'm not saying take away from the passing game. Keep doing what you're doing. But at the same time, just based off of what I saw, I think I told you guys the Rice running back when they played almost had 200 rushing yards, I believe, which is nuts. I mean, in this day and age, I'm going to pull it up really quick. Sorry, I had it and it just went. Sorry, 168 yards and 3 touchdowns. That's pretty gaudy numbers. So, can you imagine if Nate Shepard or Anderson Castle were to do that? I mean, it would be career day. So that's where I'm at. I mean, I didn't know Fagnano was, basically a grandpa in the NCAA until we looked it up. Played at Maine for 3 years and then is in his 4th year fourth year with UConn. So very, very veteran quarterback, and they're actually already bowl eligible. That's something else that not a lot of people are seeing. So they're looking to pad their record so they can get to a better bowl game. Last year they were at the Fenway Bowl and they played Chapel Hill College, if I remember correctly. So
yeah, I would say look for Duke. Oftentimes when there's an obvious thing like the run game, a lot of times what you see is the team in UConn in this case. It's like, okay, well, they're going to try to run the ball on us like crazy. So we're going to stack the box. And what you actually see in the first quarter is you actually see Duke throwing the ball a ton because they got to stretch that defense out a little bit. They got to get those guys back in coverage. And then I think as the game wears on, you'll see Nate Shepard, Anderson Castle, Jock Westmore, become more featured. That's what I could just see that, because if I'm an offensive coordinator, if I'm Jonathan Brewer, I'm saying, listen, they know they suck at defending the run. They're good. They think that's what we're going to come out and do. Guess what? we're not, because they're going to be keying on that, and then we're going to pick them apart. So something to look for. I don't know.
They got some guys with some gaudy numbers, but like Brian said, the schedule's weak. And if it ends up, like I've seen some talk about, this could potentially be another shootout like Duke Clemson. If it ends up being a shootout, we have Darian Mensah. We have
I like
Cooper
our
Barkay.
odds.
We have Samir Hagans. We got Queso. We got Nate Shepard. I could keep on going. Like we got all sorts of guys, and I feel pretty good if it gets into shootout territory. Now, obviously, I hope Duke goes up there and wins by 3 scores. That's what I want. But I don't think anybody is overlooking UConn. Fortunately for us, as just Duke fans, we can overlook UConn. But what we don't want is the team to overlook UConn, because they're looking ahead to a potential Virginia team that could be in the top 10 the very next weekend. So,
Well, and remember, 2 years ago, Duke went up to UConn and just laid the hammer 41-7. So 2 years ago, we're thinking, oh, we're going back up to UConn. This should be an easy win. But Jim Moore and his staff have actually made UConn a formidable program, because at first, well, I think it was last year, they started off really slow. And then near the end of the season, they found their stride, and that's what got them bowl eligible. So they're pretty much doing the same. Schedule, be gone. I mean, again, they're going to a bowl game, and they have 3 games left. I think they're 6-3 already, so I think they've got a bye week coming up at some point. But still, the fact they're bowl eligible with 3 games left in the season, that's pretty impressive.
and Fanyana has 0 interceptions, but he's got 22 touchdowns. That's impressive. I don't care who you play. So that's impressive. And I think that kid Bell has been with them for a while now, right? We saw him last time.
He's a
we
senior
played.
and has 11 touchdown catches on the season.
Yeah. He's got 994 yards already. Like,
Paging Chandler Rivers.
right. We need Mr. Shut him down.
We need a Chandler Rivers against KC Concepcion in Raleigh last year, type of performance. From him on Saturday, for sure. But remember the last time Duke 2 years ago went up to Stores to play UConn. That was during the Cooper Flag recruitment, and I think Duke won 41-7 or something crazy. And then the social media team, shout out Brent and his team, did the flag planted with 2 G's after that win. So
wasn't that the same game that the mayor of Durham scored a touchdown on a fumble recovery?
I think that was big boy touchdown. Yeah, shout out to
Yes.
Dwayne, the mayor. Jamie, how many more we got? We're getting close.
That's it.
We
for
done?
the questions.
Okay, man.
Unless Brian wants to talk our bowl game, which we did get a question from Regina about.
I don't want to jinx it because we're at 5 wins. We need that 6th win. But all jokes aside, I found this stat. I told the guys this before we started recording. If and when Duke gets win number 6, they will be going to their 4th straight bowl game. That has not happened since Duke went from 2012 to 2015. Guys, can you name the bowls that we went to from those? We know what 13 was, so we'll take 13 out. But where did we go in 2012, 14, and 15?
I got him.
Belk.
Okay.
Belk Bowl, then the Chick-fil-A Bowl,
Yeah.
Quick Lane,
and then
New
New York,
York.
Pinstripe.
Pinstripe.
There you go.
Pinstripe. Where we're still good.
So,
The kick is still good, Casey.
Yeah,
Yes,
Right.
it's still good. Unfortunately, buddy.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Another mailbag is finished up. Thank you to each and every one of you who sent in your questions, and keep those questions coming. We've still got plenty of episodes for this season. All right, let's move on. Time to give our predictions for Duke and UConn.
Whoa. Pipe down. Gear down, big shifter.
Now I know what. See, I feel like it's been so long since we've done it. It's just like rolls off the tongue. We don't even want to do tirade. My apologies. You know what? Yellow flag on me, 15 yards. Back it up. Let's replay the down. All right, let's try this again. Take 2. That'll do it for the mailbag. Now it is time for a 2-minute tirade. It's been a while since we've done it, and boy, do we have a good one for you. Josh is going to step in, and I'm going to get the clock ready. Man, I just failed. That was a terrible segue. My apologies.
Actually, Josh is going to give us a film breakdown.
Oh,
of
nice.
sorts.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
I've
so
got
it's
your.
going to be a part of my tirade. So get
All
ready. Are
right.
we ready?
Yep, I got your 2 minutes. Let me know when you're ready.
All right, guys. So Clemson fans can listen up. Duke fans, listen to this. Obviously, at the end of the Duke Clemson game, on the 4th down and 10, there was a penalty flag that was thrown. It obviously went the way of the Blue Devils. And if I may, it's about time that we got the benefit of the doubt in the football game. I understand Duke basketball gets the benefit of the calls all the time. Duke football, two things I'd like to point out. The first thing, it does not come with the video. The first thing is the previous play, Cooper Barcake was running a post out, and he was held the entire time, and he did not get the call. It was obviously held 2 different times on his route out. No call. So we even tweeted, hey, listen, 4th down now. Cooper Barcake got held, didn't get the call. I'm going to show you on video the call, the play. Watch on the left side of this video. You're going to see Queso get held, pulled, if I'm not mistaken, and watch it for yourself. I'm going to play it one more time. Are you ready? It's going to be held, pulled, flop. That was the 4 things by the Clemson defender. Watch it. Folks, there's no other way to put it. It was the right call. Maybe you disagreed with when the flag was thrown. Maybe it should have come out earlier, and maybe it should have been a hold. That would have been a 10-yard penalty. It would have had about a 2 or 3 yard difference. Nate Shepard would have still scored, and Duke still wins the game, and Samir Hagan still gets the 2-point conversion. At the end of the day, your defense sucked. Stop making excuses. And Scott, am I wrong? I looked online. A defensive holding is 10 yards.
It's 10 yards in
It's
college.
10 yards in college.
Okay.
A defensive holding is 10 yards.
It's 5 yards in the pros.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Either
And
way,
it's automatic first.
it's a 10 yards, the automatic first down. And like I said, I think I may have tweeted it when I was screwing with Clemson fans. Like, it's just going to, in the end, it's going to take us a few more seconds to score. Like, instead of having 40 seconds left for Club Nick to screw up, it's going to be, 22 seconds left.
Exactly.
Duke's still going to score on that Swiss cheese defense.
100%. Brian, we're ready now.
Are we good now?
We good.
Okay, now to predictions. Okay, I'm back in rare form. All right, we got to get to it. 3:30 kickoff on CBS Sports Network. A little bit different, but we like it. So,
all of our YouTube TV subscribers, you can watch it.
Yes, the Big Rat is still relentless right now against YouTube TV, but we won't get into that. Okay, last week's winner, Anna Lidke, and she made sure to remind me that her husband has won in the past. So the Lidke family is just racking it up with the wins. So Anna won the hoodie, the black hoodie with the blue sleeves. Anna, that will be going out to you in the coming days. Now, as far as this week's prize, I've got it right here. Another great apparel item from the equipment staff at Duke for the Year of the Fan. Look at this, guys. Nice long sleeve Duke shirt, white with the blue on it. Very clean, very crisp. I'll make sure my hands are not dirty because I don't want to put any dirt smudges or anything like that on there. Yeah. I completely lost track. Sorry about that, but that is the giveaway for this week. We'll be sure to put that out around Wednesday like we always do. Now, heading into this weekend's game, Duke opened as high as a 12.5-point favorite on some betting sites, but the majority of them has them at 8.5. That has not changed at all. Over under is at 66.5 points. So I think Vegas is with us. It might be a shootout. Could be a shootout, but knowing our luck, it'll be a 3-0 victory for Duke. Duke coming in is averaging 35 points per game. UConn coming in is averaging 37 points per game. Duke's D is giving up 28 points per game. UConn's D is giving up 24 points per game. So take that for what you will when you're putting in your predictions. You know what? I'm going to let someone else go. I'm just gonna put it out there. I wanted to put out the stats so you have your guesses. Yep.
I'll go. So uniform combo, I just want to make Brian mad. Yeah, I'm gonna go with it again. I'm gonna go with my black, white, black.
Oreos,
Yeah, I'm gonna go Oreos. I'm gonna go the NC State Oreos with the Gothic Duke on the black helmet. So I'm down for that. And then I'm going to go. I agree with the high scores, at least for Duke. Yeah, I'm gonna go Duke 42, and I'm gonna go UConn 28. And I will say this: I believe that Duke picks off Fagnano for his first interception of the season.
All right, who's next? Jamie, you will not be last this week. I'm just going to throw that out there. I'm actually going to be last, so just
Scott can go or I'll go. It doesn't matter.
okay. All right,
I can go.
you're unmuted. Go ahead.
As far as the uniform combos, UConn, I'm trying to think of their colors. I'm gonna go blue, white, blue, and
Traditional.
go with like a traditional. Go with blue, white, blue with a Gothic script on the helmet. Who knows? Probably wrong. It's almost a 99% chance I'm wrong because I'm pretty sure I've only got this right like once. So, but anyways, I also agree with the kind of the shootout. I think Duke ends up winning the game. I like Duke to win. 45. I think we put 45 up on them, and it ends up being 45-27. But I think it's close the majority of the game, and we score a couple of touchdowns in the fourth quarter. Duke wins 45-7. 45-7. 45-27. 45-27.
Hey, if we want to go 45-7, I am all for that because that means that'll be a fun afternoon and less stress. Well, I'm gonna go with the same combo Jamie had as far as the uniform because that's what I was thinking the whole time anyway. Which I agree with him. I'm hardly ever right, so oh well. I'm not a fan of the Oreos, so I like eating Oreos. I don't like watching Duke dress like one for Halloween or every other Saturday that they do it, but that's just me. Score prediction. I'm trying to figure out if I'm a Bob Barker this thing or not, but let's just go ahead and say 41 for Duke. I don't want to say 31, but I'm going to say 31. Let's say 41-31. How about we just go ahead and if we're going to say that he's going to throw an interception, let's say that he makes the mistake and doing the 11th commandment, thou shalt not throw at Chandler Rivers, and he finds out the hard way.
All right. Vegas has taken me for a ride this season. Anytime I take the over, it goes under. If I take the under, it goes over. So I'm going to go against Vegas, and I'm going to go under. I do have Duke winning this game. The score's going to sound closer, but I feel like it's going to be one of those Duke gets ahead early and fast and then lets off the gas near the end, and UConn scores a couple trash touchdowns. I got Duke winning 31-21. And then as far as the combo, going a little bit different, nothing crazy though. White top, white jersey, blue bottoms with that big, beautiful, luscious blue D on the helmet, keeping it simple, keeping it real. So another clean sweep. We all picked Duke in convincing fashion. Hopefully everything holds true to what we have talked about and the Devils handle business and secure bowl eligibility.
Yeah, shout out to me and Jamie for not picking Duke last week. They proved us wrong. Shout out to a couple of guys that reached out to me and said, "Hey, don't pick Duke the rest of the season. See if they win." So anyway,
I did get the uniform combo on the nose. First time in like 3 years that's happened. So I got to pat myself on the back on that one.
That is one of the highlights of Brian Kennedy's life.
I'm going to retire now.
Yep. I love it. Well, listen, we've set our predictions. Duke heads up to Storrs, Connecticut, to play the UConn Huskies this Saturday, and Brian Kennedy is here with another. Did you know?
Absolutely. I'm going to actually go back to last season's Did You Know? I found it interesting for those of you who might not have listened to us until this season. Here is the Did You Know for UConn. Jonathan the Husky has been the mascot of UConn since 1934. The interest to bring in a live mascot to school events began when Rhode Island's Ram mascot was kidnapped that year, and the news of the kidnapping drew national coverage. A student poll was conducted via the school's newspaper, and the choice of a Husky won the vote. In January 1935, the first live Husky mascot would make his appearance on campus. Soon after this, the Alumni Association announced a quote, name the mascot contest, and the name Jonathan was unanimously chosen as a way to honor the first governor of the state, Jonathan Trumbull. Jonathan won, would only last a few months. I don't know why I'm laughing about this, as the school's mascot would be struck by a vehicle. Jonathan, too, who served as Connecticut's mascot for 12 years, is remembered for chasing Brown's live bear mascot up a tree during a football game in 1936. The bear had gotten so scared that it took police and firefighters to get the bear down after the game. Now, traditionally, there will always be a Jonathan on the sidelines of sporting events, as well as a costume Husky mascot with the school's logo. To date, there have been 14 Huskies since 1934 who have taken on the role of Jonathan, with Jonathan 15 beginning his duties last season. Whenever a Husky mascot is marked to retire, the school will hold a changing of the collar ceremony to mark one Husky's retirement and another taking over the role of Jonathan. And that was Did You Know for Connecticut.
And as we continue on the theme of Jonathans, did you know John Morris, the brother of Nick Morris, plays on the UConn football team. And so had Nick Morris not gotten injured, he would have played against his brother, King Jonathan Morris.
And Brian,
the
apparently
16th.
I wasn't. Brian, apparently I wasn't listening last year because I had no clue. Like this was all new to me.
Jamie's zoned out.
Wow.
He's good. We're all good for zoning out one time during an episode during the season. That apparently UConn was Jamie's episode. But
I do it once per episode. There's no question in my mind. So anyway,
I will say I go back and I don't remember them saying that. So yeah, I'm kind of with you on that one. But can you imagine a brand new mascot and then 3 months later, boom, gets hit by a car? God almighty.
That's terrible.
We're terrible.
It's not funny.
No,
it is not funny. This podcast does not think things of any sort of nature are funny. So this podcast is serious. So anyway, I will say thank you for following. Oh, I'm sorry, Scott. Go ahead, man.
I was gonna say we're also not a fan of putting whipped cream on excrement either, but that's neither here nor there.
Man. And by the way, Scott could not get through this podcast without talking about freaking baseball and World Series. Anyway, that's all good. But we didn't have to hear him talk about how bad the Colorado Buffaloes are. So that's good. Thank you for following us on X at Section 17 Media. Thank you for following us on Instagram at the same handle. Thank you for those in our Facebook group, which is still called Duke Football Talk. Shout out. That's going to be the throwback vintage. We're keeping it that. But also those of you on YouTube, thanks for watching, commenting. We really do appreciate it. We just share it. Last week was a little bit of a interesting week. I was texting with the Duke digital media staff about it. I think bye week, another loss to Georgia Tech. Bye week really kind of hurt engagement, just to be honest with you. Let's get it back this week. Share this. Share it with UConn fans. Share it with your Duke football fans on YouTube. Subscribe. We're getting close to 1,000 subscribers. We want to get there. So please do that. Thank you big time, all of you for supporting our show and all the other Duke football podcasts out there as well. And then as a reminder, 2 reminders, and then I'll give it to Brian to close out. The first reminder is that we will begin doing some basketball coverage over the next few days. And so we'll be getting that out. Second thing, it was announced 3:30 kickoff for Virginia. There will be a tailgate. This one will be sponsored and attended by our friends at Hometown Air. They've got some giveaways for all of you. And so do not miss that tailgate. 3:30 is the perfect time for a good tailgate. We've got a big addition to our tailgate that's going to be coming that day as well. So, Brian, with that, anybody else got anything with that? Brian, I think we're ready to peace up A-Town.
And based off of what I'm seeing, bundle up. It's going to be cold next week. But as soon as I say that, it's going to be balmy 80 degrees for kickoff. But yeah, 3:30.
Hey, I'll be bringing the solo stove if it's cold.
Oh, that's true. There
solo
you go.
stove will be
Solution. There you go. Be sure to be there, folks. Another big game for the season. This could determine whether or not Duke does, in fact, go to Charlotte or could still go to Charlotte for the ACC title game. So we hope to see as many of you as possible. Again, as Josh said, 3:30 kickoff. It's either going to be on ESPN or ESPN2. We will find that out early next week. But that'll do it for us. Another episode in the books. For Josh Cox, for the big dog, Scott Medlin, for Jamie Holt and producer Tyler Witt, I'm Brian Kennedy, and this has been another episode of the Section 17 podcast.